Hi folks, welcome back to the Horde. Let me show you what I'm up to today and just kind of go forward from there. Meet the Odyssey. I found this tag on the back. I think you guys can see that, right? 783. So I'm thinking this is a 1984 FL250. That's what I'm thinking. Now I did a little bit of research and I want to tell you, it seems that seats are hard to come by for these things. Seats that are in decent shape are very hard to come by. So let me just say that right up front. A couple of you guys have made comments that the parts on these things are expensive, and I think you guys are right. Everything I looked up for these things seemed to be kind of expensive. I do have the back of the seat, and it looks like it's OEM. What's missing, obviously, is where your butt goes, so I got to come up with that. Let me give you an idea how expensive. A destroyed seat is over a couple $100. So the seat seems to be a weak link here. As I mentioned before, Stoney replaced the front tires from me, and it's always interesting to look at a all-terrain vehicle's stance. You could see the front tires are both splayed out just a little bit, but it really looks pretty good. It looks like this thing was halfway decent taken care of. What's wrong with it is it does have some carburation problems, and as I look in the gas tank, I don't know if you guys could see or how well you can see in there, but it probably needs a full fuel system cleanup. It does look like somebody put a new fuel pump on this thing. I always get a little interested when I see copper connectors like that. I don't know if there was a fuel filter on there that somebody removed or what the story is. I appreciate the information you guys gave me about the spark plugs, and the answer of why we have two spark plugs in here is I guess these things are known for fouling spark plugs, so having a second one is a good idea. So that's the first thing. The second thing I heard is some people use a hot spark plug for starting, and once you're running and it's all warmed up, they go to a cooler spark plug. So all those things actually make quite a bit of sense. So I also, one of you guys wrote in that this engine is actually off of something else, or the head's off of something else, and whatever the something else was used both spark plugs. So I think those are all good explanations. I don't know if these are the original tires. It says it came with what is it, Osaka's, OHTSU, Otasa's, whatever. So 22/11/8 standard size tires. One of these had a crack in it. Here's the other side. Yeah, you can see it's got some a little bit of trouble, but I think those might be OEM. The wheels are in actually pretty nice shape, front and back. So I don't know if an adult owned this or what the story was, but it's really in halfway decent shape. It still says Odyssey on the side of it, right? I don't know if the emergency's any good. No, emergency's not any good. Somebody hooked up the recoil. It's actually supposed to go through here. So I do have to put some time in on it. If you guys could tell me what was going on up here with these wires, because it seems to have the on off and all those wonderful things here. So I'm not sure why it would need a bunch more wiring up here, unless these were just lights, right? Maybe that's where the lights existed. But there seems to be a lot of wires for lights. Well, maybe not. Yeah, maybe these are just lights. Right? Maybe the lights went on top here. I was also reading some of your comments. You guys kind of implied that these were add-ons, that they don't actually belong on here. So that's possible because the curve doesn't fit. Yeah, it's in pretty decent shape. The back of the seat seems to use these rails to move back and forth on, right? So the back of the seat seems to move back and forth, and the bottom of the seat is only a cushion that one puts their butt on. So I'm actually glad I have the back of the seat. This rail is still on it right here, obviously. The other rail is attached to the seat, so I'm glad I actually have the expensive part of the seat there. I gotta make sure I take care of it. Of the three fenders, I mean, they're not in perfect condition, right? But they're really not too bad. This one's really about the best out of all of them. You can see that one took some sun. It has pretty good compression. So I think the engine's in nice shape. It's just a matter of getting through it and making sure that the carb is good, and that it doesn't run lean. If you run a two-stroker lean, that's how you get to buy a new engine. You can melt the piston, you could warp the head, does all kinds of bad things. So you really don't want to run a two-stroker lean. Back to parts. Every part for this thing seems to be expensive. If I had to describe every part, it's expensive. What are my plans for this? I don't own an Odyssey. I don't have a Honda two-stroke in my fleet right now. So my plans are to get her running, and to clean it up a little bit, get the seat so that it's looking proper. My plans are really to keep it. I don't anticipate getting rid of it. One of the problems with keeping it is how big it is. I don't know if you guys realize, I think I have a tape here handy. It is almost 7 foot long. And I just passed the tape too. There it is. It's almost 7 foot long, and it's got to be the major part of 4 foot wide. So it is a big guy. It is going to take up a big hunk of my storage, right? 46 wide, and from a length point of view, this is rough estimates. I'm sure you guys, if you really care that much, you can look them up online. But excuse the poor camera work. Yeah, we measured it when we went to put it on the truck, and we were like, oh my God, this thing is huge. I mean, you can see that 7 foot right there. So, I mean, this is a big guy. From a tall point of view, what is it? 4 and change, 5. It's almost just under 5 foot tall. So yeah, this guy is big. It is going to take up a little bit of space. So I gotta think about that. We're getting the rain that we haven't gotten all summer. It seems that we've gotten it over the last 3 days. I've had the mouse traps out for the second night, and I didn't catch any more mice. So I think the three traps, or the 3 mice I caught, were the ones causing me trouble in here. I'm a little distracted today. A friend of mine passed on, a guy I used to work with, and this is like the 4th person that I worked with that has passed on. 2 of them died of cancer, and 2 of them have now died of heart issues. The most recent guy that passed on, John, he was kind of an interesting character. John, I won't give you his last name, but he was of Irish descent, and he was like one of the fighting Irish, but he didn't go to Notre Dame. He was a technician, and he was just one of these guys who would never say die. If he would battle over everything. How much somebody owed on a check if we went out to eat, how much, how much the stock market went up, and he would argue over like 3 cents. But if you went out to lunch, he would fight with you over the check, but if you asked him to buy you lunch, he would. He was interesting like that. If he was your friend, he'd give you anything. He'd give you the shirt off his back, and I mean that literally. There's stories of folks going out golfing with him, and John was a little bit frugal, and he knocked his ball someplace out in the rough, and while he was going to get it, he got tangled up in a barbed wire fence, and he's wearing a white golf shirt, and he came back all bloody. There was another time where he went out and he was horsing the golf cart around, and he broke it, and he ended up finishing the course by walking, and then he demanded a refund and created all kinds of a stink. He was just he would fight over everything. But once again, if he was your friend, he was a good friend. So I feel bad because he kind of died alone, because he would fight with everybody. He had a tendency to keep people at a distance, and though I consider him a friend, he was the kind of friend you try not to spend too much time with, because you would end up fighting. Right, because he liked to fight. He was fighting Irish, man. He was great. So anyway, he passed on. A person that would help him around the house came by to help him around the house, and they found him dead on his couch. I haven't heard any other details. He did have some heart problems, so I'm kind of making an assumption that it was heart situation. I didn't read that any of the people he fought with went in and expedited his end. So I think at least I hope he died in his sleep and he didn't feel any pain. And I hope he has a good passage to the afterlife, and we're all sinners, so I hope his sins are forgiven, and I hope he and his maker make amends. So, anyway, a little bit of sad news. So, folks, I really want to thank you all for listening and watching and commenting and giving me good feedback. I'm trying to catch up on comments again. I'm always trying to catch up on comments. I do read all the comments, and I really do appreciate them, so please continue to comment. Once again, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. And remember to get out there and enjoy all your days. I guess when you start getting to be my age, you realize you really have to take that to heart and get out there and have some fun. Because you don't know how many days you're going to get, and you don't know how good they're going to be. it's easy to think that every day you're going to wake up and jog around the block, or wake up and lift up that Odyssey and throw it in the back of the truck, but that may or may not be true. So while you can enjoy your time, enjoy it. And once again, don't do anything stupid, which could mean that it's harder to move that Odyssey or harder to do things. Anyway, folks, once again, thanks for watching and commenting and subscribing. Feet down, heads up, and please get out there and enjoy all your days. Bye now, folks.